coming.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, everybody, it's your boy Mark J here.
Oh, thank you.
Welcome to Apochromatic Unlimited. Whoa, I got so many sounds coming from every part of my computer. There we go. It's your boy Mark J here. Welcome to Independent Study. This is a kind of a new-ish thing that we're trying out where we interview the creators of games while we play their games. And once again, Apochromatic Unlimited is here to always uplift the voices of BIPOC in the TTRPG space, and that's just our dream. It's our pleasure and it's our honor to do so. Today, we're hosting a very special game. We are hosting the one and only Taylor and hello, and their
Hello.
game Dice of Life. Um, I had something for this. I swear I did. Anyway, y'all know me. It's your boy Marjay, and I'm not panicking at all right now.
We are
Let's
fine.
start with introductions real quick, though. Youngles, would you like to introduce yourself?
Oh, I go first? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi. I'm Youngles. I'm a queer mixed Korean TTRPG performer that does things on the internet like help people be financially independent through spicy content creation too. And so if you like either of those things, I'm your person. Okay. I was not expecting to go first. I'm so sorry.
No worries. Stefan, how about yourself?
Hi, I'm Stefan, he, him. I go by Umbral_Knight X on Twitter and the various things. I am a professor of history of marginalized groups and modern sub-Saharan Africa and pop culture, including tabletop role-playing games. So you'll find me um, on the platform formerly known as Twitter, musing about social issues and games and all sorts of other things.
And last but not least, Taylor.
Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor Navarro. I use she, her pronouns. I am, for TTRPGs, a project manager, an editor, and most importantly to today, a game designer. I'm also a parent. I have two children, which is relevant for the game that we're playing today.
Yo, absolutely. Let me just say something about our guests here. Stefan and Youngles are two of the most outstanding and outspoken people in the space that I see. When you guys go in, you go all the way in on whatever topic you're going into. So it's just always good to have y'all around. Taylor, you are the dopest person as well. You're not
Thank
only
you.
the author of Dice of Life, but also one of the producers, lead creators of Chefs. Say it for me because I don't speak no French.
I will.
Chef's
I
Dude.
will.
Chef's
Chef's de
Dude.
Partie.
Thank
Uh,
you.
we chose it specifically because Chef de Partie is just a line chef, so it's like the group of chefs, and
Oh.
also party because adventuring party. So
Oh.
it's a pun if you know anything about like cooking job roles, I guess.
If you're a French cook right now, you probably laughing real hard. Shout out to you. Bonjour. You're also the creator, or one of the lead creators of Not Yet.
Yes, I am the creative lead on Not Yet, which is on Kickstarter right now, and you have been
Ooh.
so wonderful in supporting that. So thank you very much.
Oh no, it's not just me. You know, we're always trying to get people to show their stuff, show their shine, and people in this space don't need a lot of excuses to do gay things in their games. So this game itself, like, do you want to go talk about it a little bit, just what it's about,
Yeah.
what the plan is?
Okay. Do you like flirting with your friends? Because I have a game for you. So Not Yet is a romantic duet TTRPG. So it's two players, and you play out a series of six scenes in which you either like meet the other player and you've like met the love of your life, and then forces to be rolled or determined by you pull you apart, or you just miss each other, and you kind of have that experience of seeing how one other person influences the world around you and kind of falling in love with them through their actions before you actually get to meet them. It uses like
No.
a dice matching system, so you roll dice before the start of each scene. If you get the same number, you meet, and if you don't, you don't meet, and it's supposed to be, it's like a cutesy romantic game. You can make it a drama if you want to. You can make it a comedy. And it's just, I love love, and I'm kind of
Oh,
in my, I want people to be happy playing the games that I make instead of I want people to be sad playing the games that I make era that Dice of Life is from. So, um, but yeah, that is on Kickstarter right now. We are currently pushing towards our audiobook stretch goal, because it's a great accessibility feature, and also it's just like a wonderful, cool thing to have, because Not Yet is based on romantic novels as well as like romantic TV shows and movies and stuff like that. So please go check it out. I have an all POC team for that.
oh yeah.
Vo- our,
That team
our
is
voice
strong too, by the
actor,
way. That team is real strong.
it is stacked. I am
Yo.
so lucky about how skilled my
Hmm.
friends are, because I was like, "Hey, Pauna, you've made romance TTRPGs before. I want to make one, and I want you on it because I know you've got like the most beautiful brain for this." And then Arman, who's doing our editing, Raya, who did our cover art. I
Shout
literally
them
sent
out.
her
Let's
the
go.
brief. I sent Raya Saka our brief, and like I was literally just like, okay, I want a YA novel cover, but with people who are clearly adults, because romance isn't just for young people. And I gave Ryan like some colors that I liked, and oh my goodness, like, have you seen, like, if you go onto like the Not Yet Kickstarter, the first thing you'll see is like the cover. It's gorgeous.
Yo, yeah, yeah.
It's like so beautiful. And I'm like, I can't wait to get a print copy so I can own this piece of art. Like, I'm literally gonna get it like in a box frame on my wall. Like, I'm gonna get Riot to sign it when I see her next.
Oh,
Like, oh, it's so good. Like, we've got Aaron Catano Saez, who is going to be doing the audiobook if we get to
oh,
that
cool.
stretch goal. He has the most beautiful voice. Like, honestly, love listening to him on all of my fantasy children podcasts. Like, it's great. And then we do have some final stretch goal writers, Valiant Dorian and Nathan Blades, and also our editor Arman will be doing like additional settings for the game as well. Because why should romance be restricted to modern day Earth? We can give you more inspiration if we hit like that final stretch goal. But yes, my team stacked. Honestly, all of the best people, and I'm
Yo,
so
right.
lucky that they were like, "Yes, Taylor, we will work with you."
And it's a good mark. It's a good way to see where you are in the space and how people respect your work as well. So I think you're a part of that team, and once you get that framed on the wall, definitely take a picture of that with your face in it, so we can celebrate that as well. Because everybody's just banging out here. Everyone's just doing the best thing out here. Such amazing work.
Thank you.
Why
Yeah.
why love though? I'm curious about love because a lot of people do adventures and they do Call of Cthulhu's and mysteries and da da da. Why was love important to you as a theme for this new game?
Uh, I okay. I'm a fangirl at heart. I think is the best way to kind of begin this thought process of, I love watching people fall in love. I love seeing people realize that they have found someone who cares about them so much, and will begin a journey that, because like love obviously changes over time, we kind of all know this. It's not always like that kind of lust or passion in the beginning. Like a good love like kind of grows and changes form. Um but that first initial spark was something that I kind of wanted to explore a little bit, because I love it when my TTRPG characters find a romance. Like, I tend to make them like available in a way that if there's a character that's right for that, whether it's a PC, NPC, whoever like has consented and like agreed at the table, I love giving them, like, taking them from a lonely person, and it's like, oh no, now you have somebody who's gonna make you feel less lonely, and you're gonna make them feel better about themselves as well. And it's
Mm,
just a nice feeling, and it's fun to explore, because think the thing is, TTRPGs, the G bit, it's a game.
yeah.
um and I think that it's a safe thing to do. You just play falling in love. Like, you get to have those experiences, you get to create that story, because we all watch rom-coms. We all like all No, we don't all watch rom-coms, but, like, if you do, like, enjoy that kind of thing, maybe, like, you want to like write that story, but you don't want to write it, or you don't want to fully act it like in a film.
Yeah.
So you can play it. I think it's a great part of play is being able to explore different emotions,
Mm.
and different experiences. Um, as you'll see with like Dice of Life and some other games, like I tend to make my games very much about conveying an experience. So for this, it's the experience of falling in love with somebody who is kind of around you in that same orbit, but maybe isn't someone that you're seeing regularly or have seen it all. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, all of a sudden, like it's like the yellow umbrella in How I Met Your Mother, which was a big influence on this game. Because How I Met Your Mother, I could take or leave the rest of the main part of the series, but like that yellow umbrella that kept trading hands, and this idea that like Ted and his future wife were always like in the same place but didn't see each other, actually mirrors my own experience with my husband.
Oh.
Because we grew up in the same like set of towns, and we were actually at the same concert a couple of times and had never ran into each other, had mutual friends that just we had never been introduced to each other, and then I met him in my second year of college, and we've been inseparable ever since. And I think that's a nice, and it's like a like you can like fluff it up and make it into like a beautiful love story if you want, or you could do what I did and you could turn it into a game.
Right. I love that. Just boil it down right into the aspects and like try to communicate it with everyone who gets a chance to play. That's incredible.
Yeah, thank you.
Ooh, I love it. Thank you. So if we can, shall we get into this game, Dice of Life? You can find Dice of Life on itch.io. It's really cool. And when I saw it, I knew I had to put it up on our channel because it's deep. It's deep. I'm not a parent, so I'm about to be schooled about some things right here in this game, which I'm ready for. But I'm looking at my cat, and my cat's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm right here, but I'm not a huge parent to humans, so this game is going to be definitely a new experience for me, a learning experience for me. And Youngles and Stefan, our guests with this, you are parents. Just kind of as you skimmed over this, over the PDF, what did y'all kind of think about it as you went over it?
I thought it was so valid.
Mm.
Like, parenting is really hard. And in a lot of times, you're parenting yourself while you're parenting your children. Because you are reminded of a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't have been reminded of if you didn't have kids. And this isn't to say everybody should have kids, but this is just to say when you see a semblance of yourself in situations that you were in as a child and you handle those situations differently, it can bring up a lot of emotions and a lot of feelings. And so that is really, it's like, and then having to hold on to that and not project that to your child as you're raising them. There's a lot of these like in-brain conversations that parents go through that we don't talk about a lot. And this game does a really good job, I think, from skimming through it, of like kind of harnessing that, like with the aspect of energy, like in childcare and like all of these other tasks that you have to manage. It's that physical but it's also, and I think this game kind of captures that, it's also a lot of mental work, just having these conversations with yourself over and over. And since people don't talk about it, people don't get to have these conversations, and having it be like a one pager solo is like the isolation of it is just like very, very speaks to that, like what it's like to be a parent, especially modern day now.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Parenting is everything. And by that, I mean, it is rewarding. It is hard. It is aggravating. It is all of these things rolled up. I mean, every emotion and adjective you can think of, that's parenting, right? And parenting is something that there's no manual for. There's no rule book. I mean, you can certainly look at examples, but every child is different. And every experience with children is different. So you can have a general idea, but it's learn as you go. And I think a lot of people, I always kind of internally grin to myself when I hear people say, well, I'm going to wait until I'm ready to have children. You're never going to be ready. You're never going to be ready. I hate to break it to you. You can be more prepared, but you're never going to be completely ready because it's an experience that's always going to throw curveballs at you. And I think this reflects that. I think the game reflects this really well, that parenting is chaos. and you're just trying to manage the chaos as best you can and hope for the best. And hopefully, I think for most people, hopefully you can get to a point where you're going to come to understand that you're going to make mistakes. Nobody's a perfect parent. You're going to make mistakes. The trick is hopefully you can learn from those mistakes and do better the next time. Yeah.
Ooh, I'm at a loss for words here. Jenna, I love that you said, you know, parenting. Sometimes when you're parenting yourself as well, and that's so true. It's something I can hopefully empathize with, in that you're still dealing with your own issues, your own thoughts and feelings, while also trying to manage this other human being.
It can unlock memories too that you didn't know that you had. So, for example, I'm gonna get real deep here for a second. I was rehomed when I was young. One of the things we don't talk about a lot too is like the clashes of interracial parenting, and then how that affects children. So my mom was very, very young. And when she had me, she was 20, moved to the US. I was 3 months old, no English speaking, no resources, no family, no nothing. And her and my father had very, very different ideas of what parenting a child in the US is supposed to be like versus what it is. And so they split up. And then my dad got sent back to Korea. So I got rehomed with some relatives, and all of that process like unraveled for me when I had my first 3-year-old, because the decisions that my parents made were never decisions I would make. And that doesn't mean that they were wrong decisions. I mean, I don't have their background. I was in a completely different space, but I could not imagine leaving my kid for over a year to do whatever it was that they were doing.
Wow.
And so that unlocked a lot of grief and a lot of things that I hadn't fully processed, because it wasn't anything that I had actually like thought about or come to terms with. And so like these are the type of moments that people don't talk about, because like you're gonna see your kid, like I said, go through things, and you're gonna go, oh, why did my parent make that decision? And that can unlock a whole thing. And I highly recommend therapy, and I highly recommend finding a therapist that understands your specific context, because that's important. But there are a lot of things that parenting can unlock for you that like you are a completely different person on the other side of it. Just simply having to like relive some of the childhood traumas that you might have gone through that maybe you didn't even know that were still in there somewhere doing stuff, you know, like that's really the hard part. But unpacking that can be very, very difficult. Yeah.
Thank you. And I imagine a game like this can not only kind of bring back some memories, but also provide a safe space for you to unpack those things a little bit, because it's very refined and smaller space to look at it. For this game, we do have content warnings that Taylor was thankfully enough to remind me of, including family conflict, loneliness, and isolation. It's very important. If those types of things are triggering for you or stressful for you, go find something else to do for yourself this afternoon. It's totally fine. We respect that you want to take care of yourself. That's really important to us. Okay. Any other thought-provoking comments? No. Jen, you've never paused that. You're my second place for the longest of my podcast ever. So you
It's the
don't have to
tism.
pause
I
that.
can't help.
You're good. You're good. All right. In that case, everyone bring up your Dice of Life PDFs and
Got
let's
it.
get through a couple days.
Yeah.
Let me grab my dice all the way over here.
You need at least one d4, but probably 2 is best.
Yes.
Okay.
D4. All right. D4 the most
Oh.
dangerous dice of them all.
They
Even if you don't have
are.
any kids.
I got 4 kids. Come on.
Oh, no.
Hang on, it's 1d4 minus 4, so you've got 3.
Oh, 3. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
1d4
That's
minus 1
better.
kids, yeah.
Okay. Okay. I read it
Um,
wrong.
I do just want to shout out up top. This is a Caltrop core game.
Mhm.
So hang on. I need to bring up who made Caltrop core because I want to give them their credit. Where is their name? Oh gosh, Titanomachy RPG
Mhm.
is the one who created like the Caltrop Core SRD, which I really love. Like, it's just the D4 system that you'll see on the page, about successes and failures. The stuff about like energy die and penalties, is stuff that I added on top of the base system. But it's for new game designers or for game designers who are looking for like very simple success failure rules. I highly recommend Caltrop Core. It's so easy to pick up, and you can kind of adapt it to pretty much any sort of game style that you want to make.
I love it. I dig it. So going down the PDF, and if you are watching this, check out the twitch.io, look up Taylor Navarro. You can find this game there. It's not expensive. So check
You
it
can
out
pay
and
what
you can
you
play
want,
along.
so
Yeah,
you
pay
can
what you
get it
want.
for free. I don't mind. You don't
No,
have to pay
Taylor,
for my
get
pain,
them to pay
but
a
if
lot
you
of
do
money.
want to, it would be
Taylor,
greatly
get them to pay.
appreciated.
No, get them to pay you lots of money. Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Listen, pay POC creators. That's all I'm saying. Pay us. Pay them. Pay us all. So going down the PDF, you are a parent and you have 1d4 minus 1 kid. So I rolled a 4. That means I have 3 little children, 3 little kids running around.
I also have 3 kids.
I ended up with 1.
Nice,
Oh.
nice.
So if
What's
you
it
had rolled,
Yeah.
if you had rolled a 1 on a 0, you are expecting a child yourself through your partner, a surrogate, or adoption. Next, every day you have 4 tasks to complete. You have childcare, employment, housework, and self-care. These tasks can be completed in any order. Whenever you attempt a task, roll d4 to determine whether you succeed or fail. Yep. So 1, you cannot complete the task. You lose 1 energy die tomorrow, the next day. 2, you complete the task, but you take a -1 penalty to the next roll you make. 3, you complete the task. And 4, you complete the task and have a +1 bonus to the next roll you make. So the first thing I want to say is, like, on a 1, you lose the energy that die the next day. But on
Yeah.
a 4, you only get +1 bonus to the next roll.
Yeah.
Which is like, what are you saying there?
I'm punished. So I'm punishing you. Is exactly what I'm doing. So this game is designed specifically in a way that there is no point in which you can consider yourself winning. You are either losing or surviving, or like you might have the occasional good day. So the idea is like a 1 is like a complete failure. Like the kids have completely kicked off. You can't complete the task that you're doing. And you are drained. And the reason that you are drained is because when a toddler has a tantrum, a lot of times you get two types of adults. You have adults who will also have a tantrum,
Mm,
or adults who understand that this is a child unable to regulate their own emotions and spend so much energy regulating their own emotions so that way they can help the child in front of them that it takes up. Imagine you're like in The Sims or something. It takes up a huge chunk of energy. Um, and when you go to sleep, like this will kind of come into play more in a little bit, but this idea of like when you go to sleep, you don't always necessarily recover and regain
mm,
that energy.
Mhm.
So if you completely fail, whether you want to role play that you lost your temper, or you want to role play that you gentle parented, like you're still losing like a part of yourself because you've lost so much energy that it is a struggle to regain it back. And that's something you will find with the energy die. You're going to find them depleted very quickly, and you are going to struggle to get them back. And that is intentional game
oh my
design.
goodness.
I just want to interject too. I think it's interesting because I ended up rolling one for one kid, and I think speaking of my own experience, there's a commercial. I can't even remember what it's for, but there's a commercial where it shows the parents with their first kid, and the parents have like pillows strapped to the stairs, and they have like everything is like padded in the entire house. It looks like they're living in a giant pillow, and they've got like everything like and the slightest thing their child does just sends them into a panic. And then with the second child, all of that stuff is gone, and they're just
Mm,
like, yeah, they'll be fine. Whatever. They're about to leap off the back porch. They'll be okay. And speaking as a parent of two children myself, that that's so valid. And so it's interesting for me thinking about this from the perspective of being someone with one child, because for me with our first child, like everything sent me into a panic. And it was like the slightest little sneeze was like, oh my gosh, are they dying? But then and it's not like you don't care anymore when you have a second child, but you're just like you've kind of learned things more. Um, and you get to this point to where like the children are like doing things that maybe they necessarily shouldn't, and you're like, is there blood? They'll be fine. And, and and so it's just interesting for me looking at the game and thinking about it from the perspective of someone with one child as opposed to the perspective of someone who's had a second or third child.
Yeah,
ooh.
so true.
Okay, let's go through the rules then. You begin each day with 3 energy dice. That's 3d4s. You must choose to use your energy dice before you attempt a task. You may add as many dice as you wish from your pool to the roll. When you roll multiple energy die, take the highest score to determine your success or failure. You lose any unspent energy dice at the end of the day. Whew, I'm getting chills. Before you complete your tasks each day, roll on a challenge table. The results may affect the number of energy die you have or grant you other benefits or penalties throughout the day. Okay, so let's start. It's a Monday. It's a Sunday. It's Sunday night. You've had a decent weekend. You and whoever is your family have spent the time just relaxing. But Monday is coming around. Dreaded Monday. You know what Monday brings. So now it's Monday. Let's start with our first challenges. So we have childcare, employment, housework, and self-care. Does anyone want to make a first choice for that? I've
Okay,
got
so
to
the
be.
first thing you need to do before you even attempt any of those,
Ooh, yeah.
so you need to roll 2d4 to
Okay.
determine what is going to impact your entire day.
Oh boy. Okay.
Okay, so we've got a roll table at the bottom. So you can choose which one is like the row, and which one is the column.
Well, I got double twos.
You got double twos.
Um,
Oh no, that's a bad one. So do you want me to read it out, or do you want to
Yeah,
read it
sure. If
out?
you want, go for it.
So double twos. It's the weekend. You must spend two energy die on childcare today. So of your three that you get, you got to spend two on childcare.
So I'm already down to one.
You're already down to 1.
Oh my
You're down
goodness.
to 1.
It's okay. I'm strong and I believe in myself as
You
a
can do
parent.
this.
What did the rest of you guys roll?
So mine came up as your colleagues keep sending you urgent messages. You must spend 1 energy die on employment today.
What numbers were those?
That was a 3 in the column and a 2 in the row. So
Okay.
I got a 2 and a 1, so my kid didn't sleep, which means I have 1 less energy. Which is my life, by the way.
Oh, mine too. Mine too.
All right. That's only the first task though. Oh my goodness. Wait.
So that is your entire day. So you don't need to roll this again until
Okay.
tomorrow. So now you can
Oh,
choose
wow.
out of your 4 tasks what order that you want to complete them in. And there is a right order, and it's any order where self-care is last. But
Right,
Damn.
right. Because
Damn.
nothing else will get done.
So what do y'all want to go with first?
Well, that depends. Am I the breadwinner? Am I not? Is this a double income household? Like, can I make that up? Like,
I
how
mean,
does that?
it's your character essentially, so you
It's-
can
it's your story.
however you want it. Yeah.
Okay, let's do childcare and employment because I only have 2 energy anyway, so that's all that's getting done. The kids are alive.
yeah, same
Oh, no.
for me. I think.
So essentially, the thing is, you roll a d4 for everything. You can choose
Oh,
another
okay.
one to increase your chances of success.
Ah,
Oh,
okay,
okay.
okay.
So everything you attempt everything, whether everything gets done, is dependent on the dice.
I see. Okay, so you just put them in an order.
Yeah, you choose the order that you want to try and complete them in.
Okay.
I'm going to try the employment thing. So
I'm gonna try housework.
Okay.
And
Do childcare. What is wrong with you?
I don't have any kids.
I gotta.
You have 3.
Oh,
Right?
shit, yeah, okay, in character. Ooh. In character. Yes, okay.
I've got,
Kidding. Do whatever you
I've
like.
got to fill up those cupboards. The
So you gotta pay the
choices you have to
bills.
make.
Okay, so I
Everyone's
completed the
already
task, but I take a
struggling.
-1 penalty to my next roll.
Just
So I did
for,
complete the task. That's good.
Okay, so I begin each of 3 energy die.
Except you only have 2 today.
Except I only have 2 today.
yes.
Yeah.
Same.
Multiple energy. I take the highest score. Turn. Okay. You lose unspent energy.
Of course you do.
Doesn't that sound so realistic?
Because it doesn't
Yeah.
matter how energetic you are when you go to bed. When you get shit sleep because you have kids, you're
Yep.
gonna wake up in the same state every single day.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, so I rolled a 2 on employment. So I complete the task, but take a -1 penalty on the next roll.
Yeah.
I rolled a 1 on childcare. Just not feeling it today.
Oh no.
So you're down to 1 energy die then.
So tomorrow you
Yeah.
have what you start with 1 less energy die
Oh
tomorrow.
my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay, tomorrow.
You should probably make a note of that.
It was a tablet day. That's what happened.
Yeah, fair.
Everybody charge your tablets and look at your tablets. Okay. Let's go with our next tasks if everyone's got those completed. Okay,
Yeah.
no, Jen, you were right. I'm gonna go with childcare because that's the most important. I'm learning that now. I'm a new parent of 3.
Okay, it's okay. It's a
Oh.
So
learning
you have to
curve.
spend 2 of your 3 energy die on that.
Say again.
You have to spend 2 of your 3 energy die on your childcare today. So you've got to roll 3 dice. You don't have a choice.
Oh, I only have 1 die left though.
Oh, well, you've got to
So-
spend it.
Okay.
And then did you get a 2 on your first roll?
I did, yeah.
So it's a -1.
Okay. Ooh, nice. No,
Right,
not nice. -1.
It can't work either.
Oh my goodness. So now it's time for me to do childcare. And I've
Uh-huh.
completed my childcare tasks for all 3 of my little babies. But now again I have another -1 penalty because I already rolled a -1 on that one. So I'm at a deficit a lot of the time.
Yeah. and you're out of energy die now, and you've still got 2 more tasks to complete.
So, what do I do? Because I don't have any more energy die.
So you just roll. You have 1d4 roll.
Okay.
So
okay.
you still have to attempt the task. You just can't increase your chances of success.
Got it.
You can't put extra energy towards that task. You're just trying to get it done, and the die will tell you whether you succeed or not.
Apparently, I'm really good at housework.
Fantastic!
I got a 4 in that one.
Yay! Your next roll.
Must have been an angry day.
So on my second one, I got a 3, but I had a -1, so I complete the task, which was with childcare, but I take a -1 penalty to the next one.
Yeah. You're getting by. You're struggling, but you're getting by.
Yeah, managing.
This is just one day.
This is just the first day. This is Monday.
Wow.
Okay, and then I got a +1 to my next roll, which is self-care.
Oh, we love that for you.
Yeah, let's do it. I got 2 + 1 is a 3.
So you take care of yourself.
Hell yeah.
Well done.
Yay.
I'm gonna try for now employment. Like Stefan said, we gotta pay the bills, gotta feed them little babies. Okay, that's a 4, but 4 - 3, 4 - 1 because of my penalty is just a 3. So I completed the task. At least I filled out an application or something.
You
well,
did.
I tried self-care and I got a 2, but with a -1, I lose an energy die tomorrow. So
that's rough, especially on self-care. But you know what? Sometimes the kids are screaming and you can't take care of yourself.
Yes.
It happens more often than you think.
Yes. Yes, it does.
I feel like it's one of those things where you think it's self-care, but then your body doesn't agree with you.
Yeah. Well, then also, don't forget the internal monologue that is going on the entire time you're doing the self-care, where you're explaining to yourself that this is productive. You are resting. Resting is good for you. You're not leaving anything on the table. Like, you are okay to do to shower, and it's fine.
Whew. And that concludes the first day for everyone, right? That's all 4 tasks.
Yes.
I think so.
How did we feel about that first day?
Sounds like my typical Monday.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So again, me, not a parent. Except for you, darling cat. Which is not nowhere near the same. I'm just totally joking, but I'm like worn out from playing the game.
Yeah, right.
I'm not a parent. But I'm worn out from experiencing this game. So
okay,
ready for day 2?
Hang on, before we go into day 2, I have to admit something.
Yes.
This game was never designed to be actually played. Like, when I made this, I didn't think that anyone would like actually do it. This game is an educational tool. I have several games that are like this, where some of them aren't intended to be played. This is one of the ones that is like, oh, I don't expect anyone to ever actually pick up and roll dice. It's an education tool. You read it and you see that it is a struggle. You see that there are multiple design choices to make your life harder, and you go, you know what? Pass. And that is supposed to be the experience that you get reading this game.
Yeah.
So this is very interesting to me, watching you play, and you're like, oh, I'm tired, and it's only been one day, and it's like, yeah, fam. Preach. I am also tired.
Can I just say, as an educator, that there are you can find in multiple places online, you can find games that myself and other educators have used in the classroom, where that are similar to this in ways, but they're more to highlight poverty. And they are games where, you know, you're playing through a particular day and you have an X amount of money to get through the month. And then as the month wears on, something happens. Your car breaks down, your, you know, water pipe bursts or whatever the case may be, and it just shows the struggle. And so I think this game as well has some utility in that same sort of like space as an educational tool to kind of play through it, and then through that open up some discussion about these things. I think, so I think there is some use, even though you didn't necessarily intend that in place of actually playing it, and actually using it as an educational tool to kind of, again, like I said, get people to start kind of talking about it. Because I think Youngel's made a very valid point. There are so many aspects of parenting and the difficulties of parenting that we don't talk about, that we don't discuss openly, and that for a vast number of reasons that we keep to ourselves when we are parents, when we are struggling. And it's important to talk about these things, and this is one avenue to that.
That means a lot. Like, thank you. But yeah, no. I'm really glad that we're doing like this show where where I'm seeing you play and I'm getting to like kind of talk and explain things, because I do want to open up those conversations. Like, Youngles pointed out like about this being a one-page game, about it being like really kind of like honing on that like isolation and loneliness. Like, I'm waiting for somebody to be like, "Can I get help?" I'm waiting for someone to ask that question, because the answer is yes if you roll a very specific number. There's only one option for get help on the challenges table. But otherwise, no, you're doing it independently, and you're doing this every single day. So would you like to do another day?
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Even though I'm -1 already.
Okay. Oh,
So
wait,
all
I
of
have
you are
mine.
starting today with only 2 energy die, I think, because you all got a 1 at some point yesterday.
Yes.
And you've all lost an energy die.
I got
So
2 ones, so I lost 2.
Oh, ouch.
Oh, yeah. So you've got 1 energy die. So before you begin your tasks for the day, you need to roll on the challenges table. So what is happening today, everybody?
Okay.
I got a 3 and a 4. Oh, I got a good night's sleep though. That self-care paid off.
Nice.
Oh, you've got +1 energy die today. So you get 1 back. Woohoo!
Oh no.
What about everyone else? What have you got?
I got today. You are overwhelmed with responsibility. You cannot spend any energy die on self-care.
Oh, no die on self-care, so it's an auto fail basically.
No. So
I can't spend any energy die, so I can't give extra dice to it. I just have to roll the base die. Yeah.
Right.
yeah,
Gotcha.
the base die, you get what you get.
Damn.
Yeah, get what I get.
And I rolled a 2 and a 3. Your colleagues keep sending you urgent messages. You must spend 1 energy die on employment today. Hot dang.
Good luck.
Well, I only have 1 die, and this is the thing that parents and it depends on how old your children are in this time frame, because I'm going to start with self-care. I know I only have the 1 die, and the scene here is, the parent getting up and looking at the child and going, "You know where the cereal is?"
Yep. Actually, I want to, just because we're kind of talking and playing at the same time, I do want to note that there are very much advantages to having independent children. It's a pain in the ass when they are young and they cannot handle the things that they are trying to handle on their own. But as I get older, those days of waking up and being like, "Can you just make yourself a streusel?" and like, "Can I just get like 20 more minutes of sleep?" That would be great. Like, that pays off big time.
100%.
Wow.
My eldest is just starting to get to that phase where I can be like, "Can you please like just pour yourself a bowl of cereal?" Like, I know she can make toast independently, but I'm still kind of like, I want to be in the room just in case.
Right.
But cereal, like if you're vibing with cereal this morning, can you just go and do that?
We bought a little
Yes.
end table and put it in the kitchen, and it's just full of breakfast / snacks / whatever, like easy,
Mhm.
accessible, just grab a
Okay.
snack and go. So like they love filling it up. It's like a big fun chore they get to do is they dump all the snacks into the snack drawer, and they have full access to it. They can have whatever is in there at any time, and it's just it's so easy. It's very nice. I highly
That's
recommend.
fantastic. I'm looking forward to when mine are both old enough that I
Yes.
can kind of like, yes, okay.
Parenting tips
Yeah.
with the Apochromatic Unlimited, right?
Yeah,
Right.
right. Oh my
Right.
goodness.
I
We
am
do
just
have
a
a
lazy
comment
person.
in the comments here saying education, but make it sad. Well, I would say education, but make it honest, make it realistic. I think that's part of what this game
Yeah.
is trying to do, is trying to get you as a player to empathize with this experience is. And empathy is not easy or fun all the time.
You're right.
But it is something that helps you understand other human beings and their experience. Okay.
100%.
I'm gonna do
I
childcare.
on that.
Oh, yo, go ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just gonna say on that self-care roll, I rolled a 3,
Hey.
but I had a -1,
Oh.
so I
Why
complete the
do you have
task.
a -1? It's a new day.
Oh, do you start fresh from a new day if I even if
Yeah,
I had
you
a
could
-1 on my last roll?
if you had a -1 your last roll, it's
Yeah.
a new day.
Okay, cool. Then
I'll
I
be
complete the task.
I'll be kind because the rules can be interpreted either way.
I,
But I'll be
I,
kind.
well, then I complete the task. So
Yeah.
I managed to get that extra 30 minutes of sleep.
Okay. So I have.
And what was my?
So when we roll multiple, we take the highest number, right?
Yeah, you
Okay.
take the highest number.
Cool.
Got it.
So for my childcare, I rolled a 3, which means I completed the task, which I'm very proud of because 3 kids of childcare is a lot.
Your children have been cared for today.
They feel loved and full of ramen, I guess.
Good way to take
But-
care of them. Feed them.
Mm-hmm. I also completed my childcare task because I did that first. But I rolled a 2, so I got a -1 penalty to my next roll.
Yeah.
Oops.
I think it's a great illustration here that sometimes there are those days when and every parent will feel a pang of guilt, but there are those days when the basics are all you get, and that's sufficient. You get them fed, clothed, and washed, and you're like, okay, I can't do anymore.
Right. And especially nowadays,
yeah, a lot.
like there's no village. We don't have like
that's
anybody, like grandparents, forget it, at least in my situation. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's like playgrounds outside if it's nice out and you can pay for parking or can walk or whatever, but like there's no places to like go take your kids to anymore, especially with certain things happening in the world. Maybe like there's no places where I feel, especially if your kid has neurodivergent issues, like it's so much harder to be like, hey, I'm just going to drop my kid off. And that's the other thing. There is no more of just drop your kid off because every parent has to show up. Every parent has to also be there. Like the days of like dropping your kid off at someone else's house for a birthday party, like doesn't necessarily exist the same way it did back then. So the breaks that parents get now are so far and few between from the time those kids are born until they are like teenagers, right? Like my kids are attached to my hip like 24/7 almost. Like there's nowhere for them to go unless I also want to be there or unless I have an exasperant amount of funds to sign them up for some very specific one-on-one thing. Like there's nothing. And so a lot of parents do feel a lot more isolated simply the fact that I can't go to the mall and find a play place for my kid while we go shopping. Like that's just not a reality anymore. And a lot of grandparents aren't, like they're busy living their lives that they didn't get to live when they had the children that some of them maybe didn't want. So like there's a lot of things happening for parents now where the support systems are just gone, like gutted. And that doesn't even get into public education funding or any of that stuff. So like,
yeah, no, 100%. Like, and I say that like in the context, like I grew up in a particular time, so I was one of what's colloquially known as the latchkey kids. You know, I grew up in a time when our parents just, both parents had to work, and it was something that was shifting in kind of the American consciousness. You know, the generation before my parents' generation, one parent could work and support the entire family, and that was no longer a reality. And so, kids of my generation, 70s and 80s, we just got left at home after school until our parents got home to fend for ourselves. And so we had to manage our own, to feed ourselves and to do all the other things. And obviously today things have changed, which is a good thing in that regard. But you still have to make sacrifices, you still have to make compromises, and I think this game does a really good job of illustrating that there's just not enough time every day to do everything.
right.
You have completely nailed it. Like, there is a reason that you have to roll on like childcare and employment and housework. Like, usually, like, you could, like, I think, kind of going back in time a bit, when only one parent had to work, you could roll 3, and then you'd have like 3 energy die in the game version of this, and you'd have a decent chance at everything. But for this, you specifically have less energy than like the tasks that you have to do. Also, Youngles, it takes a village no longer exists is my activation phrase of like, you said it, and I was like, right, I'm ready to fight because you are 100% correct.
I saw you roll your eyes when Youngle said that. I was like, oh,
I was like, I am ready
There it
to
is.
like, I literally, like, somebody says it takes a village, and I'm like, where's the village?
Right.
Like, speaking from my own experience, it is me and my husband, and then my sister. Sometimes there are no grandparents involved. There are no other, despite us having siblings, there are no other aunts or uncles involved. There are no friends. Like, back when my eldest was quite young, I was very fortunate in that I had a friend who came and visited me most days, and I would feed her, and she would help me around the house and help me with childcare, and that was great. But then she moved, and suddenly I was back on my own again, like, back playing this game without like a second person to kind of help me out, and it's rough. Like, the concept of village, you have to fight so hard to get, like, at least in my experience, you have to fight so hard to get people to trust you, to let you in. And it's like, I want to help you take care of your kids just as much as I want you to help me take care of mine. Like, I don't just want to take from you, I want to be able to give back to you and support you as well. But because everyone is so busy, like, game terms, like spending their energy die rolling on their own tracks, they don't have the time to even consider letting other people in, because you're so busy surviving that you can't build the network that you need to do more than just survive, because you just don't have the energy to form those relationships anymore. And it's dire. It is so bleak out here and so lonely. The village does not exist, and it needs to exist because childcare is so hard.
Here's another component too, and I think maybe for some DLC down the road, maybe for an expansion set. One of the things, as me as an educator, I teach a lot of concurrent enrollment courses, college courses for kids who are still in high school and they're taking college courses. And one of the big challenges that I'm facing in the last few years with this is that I have so many students who are 17, 18 years old, and they're always coming up to me and they're saying, can I have an extension on this assignment or that assignment? Because, it's due here it is like Wednesday or whatever, and then they're like, just do Friday, and they're like, I work every night this week until like 9-10 o'clock. And what used to be in like, I mentioned with my parents, 2-income households is now, for a lot of families, we are seeing 3 and 4-income households where teenagers are having to work to help supplement the family income because of the reality of the economy that we're in, right? And so there's this like added component of parenting there, right? Of managing the household. When you add that factor into it, that even 2 incomes isn't cutting it anymore in some places.
Yeah. That's so rough.
And to add to more layers, because that's what I like to do.
Please.
To everybody's point, and then some, even if you find people, parenting is such a divisive topic right now. There are so many non-experts out there, thanks to influencer culture, that have really divided the parental space and the camaraderie, because it's not, and a lot of it is warranted. Okay, just to be fair, because there, especially if you live in a maybe very palm-colored neighborhood, if you will, where there is not a lot of anything outside of white people, right? It's really, really hard to find villages that are not upholding the very things that you do not want your kids to be in community with. For example, like it's, and then you add extra layers, right? Like neurodivergence. Like I am one of my really close relatives also has autistic children, and we have very different ideas of how we should be raising those children. And some people have fallen into this weird culture of everything you do that is outside of what your people assume your child should be doing is somehow abusing your child. And it's become this really weird conversation that you can't really have with people. And I think that's one of the reasons why we don't talk about parenting a lot, because like when I talk to somebody about how I'm raising my autistic kids, that could completely make them feel like a way about how they're raising their autistic kids. And then all of a sudden I'm the bad guy because my kid's not an ABA. And so it becomes this like very toxic kind of competitive space, even between a lot of parents, that like also like shrinks the village. And then that's, you're just trying to stick up for your kid. And that becomes a problem because maybe the grandparent wants to stop over and bring them another toy that, even though they haven't talked to them in 6 months, like, or they, the person that is in charge of the extracurricular activity that you paid $250 to sign your kid up for turns out to be a little racist. Like, so, there's a lot of things that also inhibit parents from finding villages, especially in real life spaces where like they might not be in community with other people that think the same way that they do. And in some cases that can be dangerous. So
I so feel that. There was somebody who made a post the other day on social media that was circulating around, and she said something to the effect of that kids carrying a water bottle was making them entitled.
Right.
Having instant access to water
Wow.
was making them entitled.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's
and I was like, this is the kind of advice that people are like passing around. It's like, really? That's what we're doing now.
Oh my
right.
goodness.
There's actually a phenomenon for that because I'm autistic. So when I first had my kids, I was like, all right, I need to know all the psychology. I need to know the brain stuff. I need to know how their brain develops. I need to know when their self-esteem is like done cooking. Like I need to know all these things. And there is a phenomenon where parents are actually jealous of the life that they are providing for their children and how ungrateful their children are, because and it's every parent, I think, has said the phrase, either you have no idea what it was like, or back in my day, right? Like, we've all done it. Like, this isn't, we're gonna do it, it's fine. But there's a difference between shaming your kid or feeling, and I'm not a therapist, but I've hung out with a lot of therapists, shaming your kid and making it their fault and having them internalize that they have a better childhood than you, as if you're not the one providing it for them. And I think this phenomenon goes into society. I think society as a whole is jealous of the idea that we don't want our 14-year-olds working in factories, and we don't want our kids to go thirsty at a register, and they should probably be able to sit when they're a cashier. Like, I don't understand why that's weird. But like, when we try to promote these things in our children, like, maybe they don't want to hug you, and that's okay, because we're trying to teach body autonomy. Or maybe we're not doing sleepovers because that's not necessarily great either in a lot of cases. Like, then that again becomes something that society like yells at children for. Or like, I saw one the other day that was like, please don't bring your kids to Costco. And I'm like, what? How?
Where are you supposed to leave them?
Like,
Oh, can I follow up with that one? There
Yes.
was the in Houston, there was opened a 24/7 daycare, and all the grognards were like, "What do you need a daycare at 2 a.m. for?" It's like,
because emergency
my
responders that work
goodness.
24 hours don't exist.
Yeah.
Night
Right,
shift doesn't
exactly.
exist,
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
right? Like,
to your point, Jenna, there's a lot of people who don't know what they're talking about, commenting on things they just shouldn't.
and science exists. Like, talk to an occupational therapist that specializes in pediatric outpatient therapy. Like, it's not, I'm so sorry, but like,
you almost took me out with that one.
I was just going to say, I think science exists for some of us, because some people are living in a world where apparently it doesn't.
This whole idea that parents are all-knowing, all-seeing, all omnipotent beings that just have gut feelings that are always correct is like a weird thing to me. I know it's a passed down thing, colonization, whatever, but like, we are at a point in time where you can just go ask an occupational therapist for children if you're what you should be doing. How do I get my kid to do this? How do I need to alleviate this? What's the sensory issue that we're having here? Like, these professionals exist, and I highly advise you to read their work if you're struggling with stuff, because we know that taking care of our kids' needs makes better humans.
But then that begs the question, and I think you're absolutely right, but that begs the question, does that add another task?
Yeah.
To your list?
This is just basic. This is
the like task of education.
Well, that's
kind of self-care. That's kind of self-care, but
no, educating yourself on how to take care of your children is an additional track, because it's something that you need to devote time and energy to. And everyone is out here doing their best.
For sure.
Well, some people are out here doing their best.
Right.
Right. Yeah. I would go with that.
But to truly dedicate yourself to that level of learning is to spend more time and energy that if you don't have a village, unfortunately, you don't have. So you can try it, but you may not necessarily succeed because you don't always have like the support available that you need to truly like develop your parenting skills, because parenting is a skill at the end of the day. It's not an innate thing. It's something that you work at and you hone and you develop over time.
And not everyone is cut out to be a parent.
No.
And I think we live in a society where large parts of society question you very harshly if you're like, I don't want kids, I don't want to have kids, and then what do you often hear people say? Oh, you'll be a great parent, you'll
change your mind later.
Yeah, you'll change your mind later, all of those sorts of things. And I think it's absolutely valid.
Yes.
for people to be in that place and say now and down the road and whenever that they aren't parents, that they aren't prepared to be parents and they don't want to be parents. And I think also, whether we're talking, across the board of all of these elements of things, of people are and understanding that there are resources, so that people don't have to feel trapped,
Right.
in those sorts of situations, um, are all absolutely valid things, I think, to talk about and to highlight, because there's a lot of pressure for people to be parents.
Yeah, and it's I think that when I say that, just to clarify, I understand that education is a big privilege that I have. And so for me to be able to read a study and go, okay, I get the basics of the study, I understand what it's saying, and I understand how to interpret it in a way that works for me, is a privilege that I've learned through being in school and being educated and going to private institutions and being at a university and all of these things. This is not something that I think everybody has access to, just because education is not an important thing in our country for some reason. But when I talk about issues of parenting, I think all of us it's a systemic issue. It's the systemic issue of lack of funding, support, good marketing and PR, because we're getting shit on, for a lack of a better term, out there right now. And on top of that, we're constantly the only ones blamed for our child's development when there are so many outside factors that have nothing to do with us. Our job isn't to shape our children. Our job is to be a fixed point in their lives and to help them navigate the world. And if the world sucks, probably going to have some sucky people in it. It's just... So it's a systemic issue. There is nothing at the top telling people to care about this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And that's really what the issue is, I think,
100%.
as a whole.
I think that's what the game definitely reflects as well. Going all the way back to what we were talking about earlier about the village. One of the things when I was reading through it, when I first skimmed over, I was like, there's no partner. There's no other. There's no it's all just 100% me, myself, and I playing this game. And even just playing this in a group is a very different experience, I imagine, than playing it just by yourself in your room.
So
I think, sorry.
To address there is no partner. If you play this as with two people, you could technically just both be doing the same thing for the same set of kids, because my partner, my husband, he is doing the same 4 tasks as me every single day.
Right.
Yeah.
So it does seem very isolating, and it is isolating, but in a together kind of way for me and my husband, at least. It's I'm doing all of these things, he's doing all of these things.
Right.
There is at no point but we can't always help each other, which is the issue, because we both have limited energy and we both have to focus on the task that's right in front of us. And so it's no, you can't give your energy die to somebody else because you've spent it. It's gone. And yeah, that was intentional design. Also, it's 1 page, so I couldn't really go into details, and I wanted to keep it to 1 page, because this is my vent. It's my small vent. But yeah.
Well, I think that's perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because even when you are completing tasks together, it's still isolating, like you said. There's always more to be done. There's always more. And you add another person into it. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it doesn't end, which brings me to the very, very bottom of this page, where I repeat the first line: "You're a parent. This game never ends." So we can do as many days as you like, but the game is never truly over, because parenting, no matter how old they grow, is never truly over. And that is my mic drop on the page, is that little line at the end.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I think too, I realized, and it's not it's something that I haven't realized from the beginning, but talking through this, my partner and I, we were very fortunate in that um, uh, our families had moved various places, but we ended up where my parents were, and her parents eventually ended up moving here, and were very available and very present when our kids were growing up. And my parents were like constantly would take our children for a week here or a weekend there, and which of course made me say, "Who are these people? These are
Mm.
not the parents who raised me. What is happening?" But but and so if you're supremely lucky, you have these particular points of advantage and privilege that others don't, where you maybe do have some people in your life who are willing to provide you some little semblance of that village, or you're able to have those particular moments, be it education or whatever
Mhm.
else, that play into these elements. And then the flip side is that there are people who are on the other side, right? People who are single parents, people who
Mhm.
are so they have an even smaller, circle, um, because at least when you have a partner, even though you may be doing the different tasks in the day, uh, you know, anyone here has been in the situation knows that, on those days that maybe your partner is lucky and gets that extra energy die, they can pick up some of your slack. Whereas if you're a single parent, you don't have that.
Yep.
And so I think that, this helps highlight that there are commonalities, but every experience is a little bit different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that was kind of the intention, and that's why the challenge table exists, because you could just take that away and still have a game, but it's like the variation of the day to day. Um, like that gives you like kind of commonalities. Like I think two of you have rolled like the same challenge on different days, but also it kind of shakes things up a bit as well.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, whew, this is a game that I made, and I think it's kind of important to put this game into context a little bit. This is one of three games that I made that was like a event, like me exploring like some grief after some family conflicts that I had had, um, where my children went from having like one grandparent to having none, um, and it kind of this is like the reason that this game is event is because even when there were grandparents involved, this was still my life. Like when I was raised, my mum was divorced, so I went to my dad's like every other weekend. Like my grandparents were very heavily involved in my upbringing. And then I had a child, and I moved into my own house, and I had none of that like kind of external support. There was nowhere to send my kids. Um, Conflicts happened, no more grandparents.
Mm.
Um, and it still stayed the same. It was still this every single day. Um, and I think that that context is like kind of very important. There's another game, Family Album, that is on Drive to RPG. That is this is a companion to that game, spiritually, but maybe not like physically. Um, and there is like a DM's Guild encounter in the Radiant Citadel. My adventure in that is also like that grief. And these three games, if you look at them independently, they're all giving you different experiences about the relationship of parents and children. And then if you actually look at the three of them together, I think that you will be able to see, oh, she was going through something, because they were
Mm.
all released like within I think about the span of like 6 to 8 months. Um, but yeah, like I was like I loved English lit when I was like in high school. So like providing that context to this game I think is very, very important if we're talking about it. It's like, oh, you should know this is the the experience I was having as a designer, as a writer when it was made.
it's a really wonderful reflection of where you were in that time and place. I mean, wonderful in that it's expressive. It allows us to empathize with your experience. But it's heartbreaking that you had to go through it for sure. I think we only made it through a day and a half.
we did.
Which in my mind I was like,
did my whole day. I
You
didn't get
did the
any
whole
There are
thing?
things to unpack. There are things to
Yeah.
unpack.
yeah.
But like I said, this game wasn't designed to be played, and as Stefan so rightfully said, this game is more to provoke conversation. It's to share these experiences. Like I am so glad that that I have this opportunity to play this game with somebody who's not a parent and people who are like at different points of parenthood.
Mm.
Like we're all in very different places, but we're able to have open discussions
Yeah.
and just talk about this. Because I've never spoken like this before, like about any game really, but like about parenthood either. And like this experience that I'm having right now, sat in this chair, is so validating and fulfilling in a way that I'm like, yeah, I made this game as a vent, but also like the stuff that has come afterwards has like helped heal me a little bit, like, and so yeah, I'm glad that this game existed. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Thank you all for like your time and stuff. This is great. So yeah, if you could try and finish another day, it will keep going because you're a parent. It never ends. So you can play as many days as you want.
I think just having said that, Taylor, this is a wonderful time to just wrap up. No, honestly,
That's so valid.
No, definitely.
because there's, like you said, there's no end to it. It keeps going, but the idea that this space has allowed you to just speak your mind and vent on top of venting with your peers in the gaming space who are similar and dissimilar from you, and the fact that it's been healing for you. That's that's my goal when I put on stuff like this. I'm like, I just want people to like have conversations and speak their mind and get their heart out. So that's my thing. Whew.
Yeah. I always love a good conversation, and particularly about a relevant topic like this. And I think this is great. This is something that I'm gonna share this link on Itch with some of my colleagues uh, in the
Thank you.
education space, because I think, again, I think there's utility here um, to talk about these elements of parenting and things like that, and have wider conversations that aren't being had for so many reasons, the many ones that Youngles mentioned, and so many others that, I think one of the great challenges of our current time is that we have the ability and the access to reach people literally all over the world, to reach so many people, and to have connections with so many people. Yet at the same time, we are not having conversations about some very important topics that we should be having.
100%.
Yeah. We have the capacity to reach so many people, and sometimes the person we need to reach is ourselves. And by having these conversations, you can get deeper than you would on Reddit. Having said that, thank you all, my wonderful guests, Stefan and Youngles. Youngles, I won't surprise you. Stefan, would you like to give us where we can find you as we head off for the evening?
Yeah, so you can find me on Twitter at Umbral_KnightX, on Blue Sky at UmbralKnightX, musing about all kinds of fun things. I do want to say I'm totally thrilled. I finally got to play a game with Youngles. We like pass each other all the time and things, so I'm super happy about that. And just starting to hear all these wonderful things about Taylor. Super thrilled to see what comes out of you next, because this is amazing. Your mind is right on, and I want to see what your mind's going to give us next. So thank you.
Thank you so much. That's so kind of you to say.
Youngles.
Oh, I'm next. Okay. You can find me I guess mostly on Twitter, because that's been, if you want my rants on the world, I should say, go to Twitter. If you want my rants on Korean history, go to TikTok. And if you I don't know, I stream on other people's channels. I'm never on my own. So I am going to be on a fun podcast in the next couple weeks. And then I have some cool things coming up, but really nothing to talk about right now. But yeah, that's me.
Taylor.
I need to work on this. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. Oh my goodness.
Like
With
the sign off is always
the
the hardest part.
the overall conversation we had today, the outro is the least of our concerns. You're fine. You're done great. Sorry, Taylor, please.
Hi everyone, I'm Taylor Navarro, she, her pronouns. You can find me at Taylor Ann NX, so that's ANNNX. So if you think there's not enough N's, throw another one on there, you'll probably find me. On Twitter, where you can also find my games at Taylor Navarro TTRPGs.card.co. Please go to my Kickstarter for Not Yet. A completely different vibe from this one. This was from my Sad Girl Hours era. This is so Not Yet is from my Happy Girl Hours era. I'm not sure what I'm calling this yet. This is my period of time where I'm making games that bring me joy. Because I've communicated my grief, and now, as always, we must move forward, taking that grief with us, but making something beautiful, which is what I hope Not Yet is. So please consider backing us on Kickstarter, especially if you like audiobooks, because our next stretch goal is for an audiobook, which is really cool and something that I really, 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 really like. I really want as a person. So if you could do that, please. Like, it's £10 for a PDF. And you get like the beautiful cover art and all of the digital stretch goals. Thank you very much. So, like, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for having me here. This has been an amazing experience, and I'm so grateful.
Absolutely. It's been wonderful to have all year, especially you, Taylor, for this game. I know it's a lot to share this kind of game. I imagine it can't be easy to be this vulnerable, but I appreciate it. I appreciate it for real. I'm Mark J. This is Apochromatic Unlimited. Once again, we are here to uplift the voices of people of color in the TTRPG space, like these wonderful people you see all around me. They already told you where we can find them. You can find me at More Than Mirror on Twitter. You can check us out at Apochromatic Unlimited. We have various money-raising things because we're so poor. Just kidding. No, we are poor though. We have a Patreon. We have a Ko-fi. I can never remember. We have different avenues that you can help support us put on more of these amazing shows with these wonderful POC creators. You can also check out my podcast, Nunshot, if you're so inclined. And as always, this has been wonderful. Thanks everyone for taking part of this. Thanks to our viewers for being cool and not, being haters in the comments. Love that for you. But yeah, everyone have a good afternoon. Let's all work for world peace and take care of yourselves, most importantly. Bye.